19th century, many industries dotted the Newburgh waterfront, such as shipbuilding, brickmaking, machine shops, foundries, breweries, textile factories, and lawnmower factories. In 1884, a powerhouse was built on Montgomery Street by Thomas Edison. It was one of the world's first electric power stations and is still used today as an electric relay station. The Newburgh Beacon Ferry was one of the oldest ferries in the United States, with an operating record of over 200 years, dating back to 1743. The ferry was created to foster trade and transport between Beacon and Newburgh, and was vital during the Revolution as a crossing point for troops and supplies. The first ferries were pirogues, then came the teamboats, boats propelled by horsepower, and finally steamboats. The ferry stopped running while bells were tolled in the morning on November 3, 1963, after the opening of the north span of the Newburgh Beacon Bridge. The south span of the bridge opened to traffic in 1980. If you look to the west side of the river, towards Newburgh, you will see Washington's headquarters. This Dutch fieldstone house was built in 1725 and was owned by the Hasbrouck family. General George Washington used the Hasbrouck house for his headquarters while in command during the final year and a half of the American Revolutionary War. Washington moved into the house in 1782 and spent more time there than any of his other headquarters. In fact, First Lady Martha Washington spent so much time working in the parlor of the Hasbrouck house that it was referred to as Martha Washington's room. At his headquarters in Newburgh, Washington maintained the army, devised war strategies, and rejected an American monarchy. He also created and awarded the badge of military merit, which is similar to the Purple Heart today. Washington stayed at the Hasbrouck House until 1783, when Congress ratified the peace treaty, which brought an end to the revolution. He wanted to make sure that the other colonies before he sent the troops home. The Hasbrouck House is the oldest house in the city of Newburgh and is the nation's first state historic site. Today, the Hasbrouck House is a museum. It includes a compilation of artifacts collected since 1850, as well as furnishings to recreate its condition during the Revolutionary War. On the property is a monument named the Tower of Victory, which can
listening carefully the history of Hudson right now.
The monument was built in 1890. However, since then, located on the east side of the river, the city of Beacon. It was incorporated on May 15, 1913, by combining Fishkill Landing and Mattawa, and renamed Beacon to commemorate the historic Beacon fires that were lit on Mount Beacon during the Revolution. North and South Beacon rise to 1,531 feet and 1,635 feet respectively. Mount Beacon is the highest peak of the Hudson Highlands. During the Revolutionary War, General George Washington chose North Beacon as a point of signal to the American army.
This is Newburgh, only we're on this side. On the other side is another town, it's called Beacon. So this is a Hudson River that comes all the way to the upstate and goes all the way to New York City, like Manhattan, Queen. You probably heard about all those things. So it goes
from the top of Mount Beacon. A spectacular 75-mile view of the Hudson Valley. To take advantage of this, the Mount Beacon Incline Railway was built in 1902 to carry riders to the top, arriving at the Incline Rail, steamboat, or the Newburgh Ferry. Travelers would take a trolley to the base of Mount Beacon. They would then climb the summit in a car that would carry 54 people at a 65-degree angle, the steepest incline rail in existence of its time. The cars traveled at a rate of 500 feet per minute, or about 5.5 miles an hour. One car would ascend, while the other would descend the mountain. On May 30th, 1902, the Mount Beacon Incline Railway made its first trip up the mountain. It was created by the Otis Elevator Company, and the railway sold over 60,000 fares that season. An average of 65,000 riders rode per year, with over 110,000 riders in 1826. At the top of the mountain, at the day or at the in 1927, it was a disastrous fire in which the casino and the hotel were burnt down. In 1948, the casino and the hotel was rebuilt. Over the next couple of years, the railway Mount Beacon Incline Railway would be rebuilt by SAINY Hudson and the Mount Beacon Incline Railway Restoration Society. But that plan was officially abandoned in the spring of 2022. The peninsula on the east side of the river, just south of Newyork, is known its name as Wakhi. It was named after George Washington, long and road, having pointed the bricks were in New York City during the construction of Route 470. The brick works closed in the late 1960s.
On the best spot.
Other white products and labels for clothing. Today, Denny's Point is part of the Hudson Island State Park.
The white boat there is the Bannerman Island boat.
To your west, you can see numerous large white tanks. These are storage tanks for gasoline, diesel, and heating. They are supplied by barges from New York City. The fuel is then transported